It is day 153. Start by reading Luke chapter 14, verses 28 through 30. It says, "Suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? For if you lay the foundation and are not able to finish it, everyone who sees it will ridicule you, saying, 'This person began to build and wasn't able to finish.'" That's Jesus talking. And in my application study Bible, to add a little bit more context, it goes on to say, when a builder doesn't count the cost or estimates it inaccurately, the building may be left uncompleted. Will you abandon the Christian life after a little while because you did not count the cost of commitment to Jesus? What are these costs? Well, Christians may face loss of social status or wealth. They may have to give up control of their money or their time or their career. They may be hated, separated from their family, or even put to death. Following Christ does not mean a trouble-free life. We must carefully count the cost of becoming Christ's disciples so that we will know what we are getting into and won't be tempted to later turn back. Talked about in the past people treating Jesus like a good luck charm, and that is certainly not the case in our lives or in anyone's life. Is just because you become a Christian that your earthly circumstances will all of a sudden change for the better. I've always said that you will definitely have better perspective amidst your earthly highs and lows, but it doesn't mean that you will have a trouble-free life. So again, we must count the cost as we enter in this life of following Jesus. It doesn't mean that we have to be perfect. I always talk about the example of you don't have to clean yourself up to get in the shower, to learn about Jesus and accept that gift he gives. Dive in, and the more that you know God, the more you'll want to know him. And I think that you can clean yourself as he will clean you as you continue to pursue him, I guess is what I'm saying there. But at the same time, don't fool yourself that following Jesus and continuing to be like him means full surrender. It means dying to ourselves and surrendering to him. And it's tough because our earthly minds and our earthly bodies, with greed and pride and arrogance, it's going to fight that at times. Your earthly mind is going to want to hold on to some things and hold on to control. But the spiritual realm is so much more filling and is built to last. There was this quote that I saw recently posted at a church that made me stop and think. It says, "Fear says, 'What if?' but faith says, 'Even if.'" We just need to have that even if mindset. It's no matter what happens, external circumstance, earthly circumstance wise, even if the worst thing happens, we will still continue to rely on God and lean on him. And even if we catch all of the breaks and things are going very well in a season of our life, we are still going to lean on God. We're going to have faith and humility either way. But again, these verses just struck me again as Jesus talking in Luke chapter 14, verses 28 through 30. Just truly counting the cost. You're first going to sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it. Talking about building that tower. It's are we doing that with our Christian walk to know hey, because I think it's for certain people, you can be on fire for Jesus and excited about it, and then eventually life's going to hit some difficult season or mundane week, or you're going to get busy or distracted or start feeling maybe comfort, or your earthly needs are maybe being met in excess. Whatever it is, can it cause you to drift away from Jesus? Whether it's a really bad circumstance or a really good one. How do we remember and truly lean into Jesus no matter what the future seasons of life hold for us? And in order to do that, I think you just have to be conscious of it from an early point in your faith. In this moment, maybe this message today is just your reminder to stop and pause and soak these words in and remind yourself that, hey, I'm going to count the cost of what it means to be a Christian. That means that you're probably going to have to draw a line in the sand and set some boundaries with some certain people. It might mean not participating or acting the same way around people that that maybe wouldn't accept you if you are leaning in to Jesus and you're actually wearing your faith daily. But just slow down and say, hey, I'm going to consciously think about counting the cost, because no matter what happens in my life, I'm running this race for faith across the entirety of my life, not just one season. Because as I said a few days ago, like, don't turn back and start giving in to old sin patterns or vices or things in your life that God's already delivered you from. Keep pressing forward and keep remembering that you must write his words and write his promises on your mind and your heart daily. And if you can do that, that's the kind of counting the cost that I think Jesus is talking about here. And it's a kind of conscious daily decision that will help sustain our faith. And that's day 153.